it was a good game of football, to be fair. I won't lie to you. A good way to kick off the Premier League.
Well, not totally.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, it was a decent start.
I thought-
I actually thought
otherwise.
I thought Liverpool looked shaky massively at the back. To be honest, the more and more I watch them, the more I worry about them getting shredded to pieces. Well, I don't worry about it, but the more I think that teams that play on transition and defend well will beat them.
I personally thought that was them last year as well.
Nah, they had a much more solid base about them last year. Now their base just doesn't look to be there. So sort of like Newcastle, not last season, the season before we put Tonali in the 6. Once you get past their midfield, you're just in on the back 4, and it's so easy to do it. It's one pass, does it?
Yeah.
Like if you imagine Van Dijk got injured on exactly what you've described in that scenario, if Van Dijk got injured, that scenario, they'd be fucked.
100%.
They would, wouldn't they? Though, like Van Dijk is like 1.5 players for them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he perfect?
Those balls through, he reads, and like I said it when in the League Cup, in the Charity Shield. Like I just think that foul that I know it's Charity Shield and I know it doesn't mean much, and I said it last week, but that foul that Van Dijk, just that trip, is just so Van Dijk. Like it just doesn't. He never does those fouls ever.
It's
1
point. Sorry,
it just feels like if he's doing that, then they must be under a lot more pressure. I know it's a Charity Shield, and I was actually sat there watching this game, feeling a bit smug, probably a bit like you were, Mitch, feeling a bit smug, thinking I thought this would happen, and it almost exactly happened how I thought it would, and then they just had a bit too much for them at the end, didn't they?
Yeah, that is exactly where I was sat. I was like, I've been telling everybody this, that they're easy to get out on transition, and both goals were on the transition, and I can see that happening over and over and over again this season. I'm actually quite, I'm licking my lips for next Monday. I think we tear them to shreds if they play like that.
It's interesting. I mean, I think 4-2 massively flattered them. It's like you said, Jack, about like Van Dijk almost being 1.5 players. To be fair, on Friday night, he kind of had to almost be 2 just because of how bad Konate looked at points.
Yeah,
and they looked like they were massively exposed to a degree where, like, because of the way they're now choosing to play, they didn't face this sort of threat last season, and a lot more was coming through that way than would normally. I thought Semenyo particularly did a great job of it, in spite of all the things that happened in the first half involving him. But they look very susceptible to like a bit of pace on the break, like you say. So be interesting when that front three at Newcastle might end up putting out on Monday week. So
John, what you said about how they didn't have it last year? It's the same like front line with Bournemouth, no?
No.
I more meant like as in I think the way that the game was played in front of that 4, it was a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It was a little bit different. I think the way they're playing now is leaving them a little bit more exposed.
I get what you're saying, but I kind of saw this last year, and I just thought with Liverpool they pretty much got lucky because the attack actually got them out of trouble. But I saw this last season as well. It's pretty much similar. No, I saw the same Van Dijk last season. I saw the same Konate last season. It weren't like far off. I weren't surprised by it compared to how everyone else was.
I think the thing you're missing here, Samir, is the midfield is now set up differently. If you play Wirtz in the midfield, you've got one player who isn't going to contribute in the transition going towards your own goal. Whereas last season, it would have been Gravenberch, McAllister, and Schloboslai that all work both ways. So you've got one less player tracking. You've got two fullbacks that are constantly gone.
Bombing,
as much as the other 2 fullbacks pushed on, Trent would invert and also play a little bit of a midfield role. They don't do that anymore. It's literally one pass and you're in at Van Dijk and Konate.
I've actually forgot about that. The fact that they actually playing with another 10 this season. And we said that from the beginning, that could actually change a lot of things for Liverpool. And Mitch, you're totally right with that. Like their midfield, because like I'm saying, for years they played with a flat 3 in midfield. It wasn't even like they had like a number 10 or a DM, I'd say. But it's just like almost a a flat 3.
Three is basically not to disrespect the players in there, but they were always more water carriers, like good footballers, but they never had what you would call an elite midfield. They covered loads of ground to let the rest of the players play. And now they've gone away from that because they haven't flooded their area so much. And this is what I said. I said this midway through last season. This is not Arne Slot's Liverpool yet. And Liverpool fans need to be careful because when it gets to that point, it might not work.